Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will be making a voiceover of the story of Charles Jacobs. This story has been written by myself, Samuel Yassam, as you can see. One day, I think about 1 year ago, I decided to write a book. I came up with a very British name, Charles Jacobs. It's very random, but it's just what I thought was a nice British name. After that, I began writing. The story is not finished yet, but there are about 5 chapters that have been written by myself. Already, I apologize for any spelling mistakes. The book is, again, not finished. It has to be edited. We will begin. Before we begin, I will say that I will do 1 chapter every episode. So right now I will do chapter 1 and chapter 2 the next episode, chapter 3 the next episode, etc. Again, chapter 1 is not completed, nor is chapter 2, nor is chapter 3. No, not any chapter is fully completed. It still needs to be edited, still needs to be I still need to add more stuff into it. But I'm recording this video because I want to show you and hear you listen to the story, and hopefully in the comments you will you will heard all of it, and please leave a review so that I can see what I can change in my book or about my voice. Let's now begin. The Story of Charles Jacobs by Samuel Yassam. Chapter 1, Cold Feet, Warm Head. The day was September the 2nd, 1666, and there was a man who lived in Old London in 1666. His name was Charles Jacobs. He had 2 dogs, Ipsy and Whipsy, and he was very fond of his dogs, 2 golden retrievers to be exact. Ipsy died in 1666 when the terrible great fires of London went through the streets of old and destroyed the streets of new. The next day, burned and drowned corpses were found that day, and they were scattered around the city with burn marks all over their faces, including his dog, Whipsy. It was a terrible loss for him personally. He said at the time he was probably quite depressed about the passing of his dog. But when he decided to write a story, which is not diary-wise, he had decided not to take out any explicit detail, because otherwise the story won't make sense. This book narrates the life of Charles Jacobs. His name was Charles Jacobs, and he was born on November the 3rd, 1646, which made him 19 years old at the time of the story. He graduated from a school in Oxfordshire, and he always wanted to go to Oxford University. However, his parents were hesitant if he actually did have the brains and discipline to go to such a prestigious school. School was tough for him. During his primary years, he got bullied by boys from high-class parents, who were also owners of plantations and lavish merchants. Posh kids who were absolutely nothing about any other than their lavish lives. He knew then that they were posh racist merchants who cared for no one, especially the black community, or as we say here, the Negro community. Throughout his years, he had never found out what the exact reason was why he was bullied. Was it his long feet, his big nose, or his background? Charles was always taught to be open and friendly to everyone, regardless of colour, background, or religion. Still, in his days, and even in these days, it is very common that coloured people being discriminated. People were shocked to see how much respect they had for such a low-class, almost animal-viewed community. They didn't give a mouse that was trapped in your basement. It was injustice. poor people and gypsies, including Jews, were also classed as a low-class animal-viewed community. His family had a history of miners and engineers. His dad was a coal miner in Manchester, and his mother stayed at home taking care of him. He was the only son. He was, however, not at all interested in such things. He wanted to learn, to explore the world, to travel. So he had decided to get a job at the dockyard to become a sailor, because that was the only way back then to become a sailor. He started to work 7 days a week for only a few pennies. Is this all worth it? Was his first initial thought. It was. After all, he did see some lovely ships coming past Dover. Brigs, schooners, frigates, some battleships, and many more. It was a peaceful job at first, but things changed not long after that. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1. Please leave under the comment what you thought of this chapter, and also like this video and comment down below as well if you want to hear Chapter 2. Thank you for listening, and have a good evening.